As members will be aware, we have sadly lost a former mayor and city councillor since our last meeting. Mike Mackrory passed away recently, having served as a city councillor between 1995 and 2023, including as leader of the council, leader of the opposition, a cabinet member and as mayor in 1999. He was also a county councillor representing Springfield since 2005. Our thoughts are with his family and friends. Please, if you're able to stand, join me in a minute's silence in his memory. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now invite Councillor Robinson to speak.
Good evening. You're going to have to forgive me because this is my friend. When talking about Mike, it's difficult to know where to start. Husband, father, grandfather, councillor, school governor, magistrate, charity fundraiser, advocate for his community. For many of us, he was simply Mr. Springfield. I was deeply shocked and saddened to hear that Mike had passed away completely unexpectedly a couple of weeks ago on the 21st of April. Mike had been a lived-in friend and colleague to me in Chelmsford for the 30 years that I've been here, and to many other people over the decades before that. I worked alongside him on Essex and Chelmsford councils in opposition and administration. Mike dedicated almost all of his adult life to the community. He was rightly proud of the work he did as a Liberal Democrat campaigner and councillor. He was out the Saturday before he passed, talking to residents in Springfield, pleased to be dealing with local issues. And he reported back that he was reassured to hear that many people would be voting for him on the 7th of May. Mike was active in Liberal politics long before Chelmsford. One of his colleagues from Redbridge, Jeff Seif, wrote to me, in 1982, as chair of Ilford South Constituency Association, Mike was instrumental in bringing Liberals and SDP together. His sheer optimism and direction ensured that the SDP Liberal Alliance achieved its first success in a local by-election in early 1982. I remember the celebrations well. Mike continued to battle away tirelessly in Ilford South until he moved to the friendlier terrain of Chelmsford. But he and Pat always returned for Christmas parties and other celebrations in Redbridge where we would compare notes. He will be remembered and missed by his many now older friends in Redbridge. Another friend, former colleague here, former mayor and councillor for then Boreham and Springfield, David Frost, recalled to me that Mike was active in the community before being elected and was always campaigning to improve the local facilities that were lacking in the Springfield area as it grew rapidly. It took 20 years of hard campaigning, but eventually a library was secured for Springfield by Mike and many others working together on that campaign. Mike was first elected here for North Springfield in 1995 and for Essex's Springfield division in 2005. Had he returned to Essex County Council, he would have been the longest continually serving councillor. Mike was our mayor in Millennium Year, 99-2000, and I went and checked out his mayoral tree at the weekend, which is still flourishing providing shade in Admiral's Park. Many of you will remember David Jones, who was here more recently, but who served for 28 years, many of them with Mike. He commented, "Mike was always there for people, whether ward residents or group councillors or party members, no matter how busy he was. Reliable and hard-working, discreet and supportive. He was always the first person to contact for advice. One could always rely on him to give a sympathetic ear. He diligently applied himself to everything he did, always making sure he was properly prepared." And you'll have some sympathy with this, because when, as mayor, he was invited to the Welsh Society, he asked me, David, to provide him with a few appropriate Welsh phrases and coach him with the correct pronunciation. Some of you may remember Phil Harvey, who was leader here, just before Mike. And he said, "Mike did his job assiduously, quietly, and mainly unobtrusively. He was always the perfect gentleman and highly respected, and I got on with him very well, and he will be sorely missed." Mike became leader here after his mayoral year until 2003, and leader of the opposition when he returned here in 2007. And then he was delighted to return as a cabinet member when we returned and took on the administration in 2019. And there are a number of colleagues here tonight because he supported and encouraged them to get elected in the first place. He was very proud to get the full house of 7 city councillors across his county division in 2019 and 2023. Richard, Councillor Lee in particular, said, "Mike was the person who sussed me out many moons ago as to whether I could be a city councillor. He was the first person I went canvassing with. It was the last, He was the last person I messaged the night before he passed. He was a solid Liberal, a thoroughly decent bloke, and I'll massively miss him, as will I." I've also received various kind messages from friends across the political parties, thank you, officers of both councils and numerous other organisations. One in particular can summarise them all as far as the voluntary sector is concerned. The CEO of Action for Family Carers said, "Mike was always interested in and supportive of unpaid carers in Essex and our charity. He attended several annual meetings so that we could hear firsthand from those carers and young carers that we serve. He was very well respected and popular with many, meeting and networking with others while exploring key issues and gaining as much information as possible. He will be missed as someone who was very committed and concerned about local issues and people. We will all miss him and send love to his family."
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. I know how hard that was. Councillor Potter, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I first met Mike in 1995 when he was elected to Chelmsford Borough Council, as it was called in those days. So often in politics you meet other councillors who fly under a different coloured flag, who are rude just because of your views and the party you support. That was definitely not the case with Mike. I found him very pleasant and supportive and prepared to listen to your views, even if his party was of a different opinion. He brought a level of decency and caring to the role that makes a good local councillor. Over the years, Mike contributed a lot to this council, and then he went off and joined Essex County Council. But thereafter, whenever we met at council events, he was kind, pleasant, thoughtful, and also caring, especially for me when I had a tragic death in my family 26 years ago, and also 3 years ago when I lost my dear husband. Mike passed away too soon and will be sadly missed, not only by his family, friends and colleagues, but by the world itself. Those who knew him, Michael John Mackrory was a gentleman through and through.
Thank you, Councillor Potter. We know how hard this is for everyone tonight, so thank you.